chatbot ain't gonna be able to figure me out, and if it is gonna figure me out, if it's gonna tell the truth of what it thinks, I'm about to get me an opinion from this thing here that they call the most advanced thing in the world. I said, how did Days of Thunder predict the future? We're gonna get very interesting. This is about to get very interesting, ladies and gentlemen, with what this AI chatbot actually says. Days of Thunder is a 1990 film that stars Tom Cruise as a NASCAR driver. While it is a fictional movie, it does depict some elements of the sport of NASCAR that were accurate at the time of its release, such as the competitive nature of the sport and the high speeds of which the cars race. However, it is not considered a prediction of the future in the sense that it has not accurately predicted any specific events or developments in the sport. It is a Hollywood movie with a fictional story with the purpose of entertainment. Yeah, that's what they say. Days of Thunder showed Rowdy Burns crash out of the movie as a driver in Turn 4 at Daytona. Dale Earnhardt Sr. died in the same spot. What about that one, Mr. AI? What about that one, huh? Yes, that's correct. In the movie Days of Thunder, the character Rowdy Burns crashed out of the race of the movie in Turn 4 at Daytona International Speedway. In real life, Dale Earnhardt Sr., a NASCAR driver known as the Intimidator, died in a crash on the final lap of the 2001 Daytona 500, which also took place in Turn 4 at Daytona International Speedway. While the movie was not a prediction of Earnhardt's death, the coincidence of the similar events has been noted by many fans of the sport. The movie was released in 1990, 11 years before Earnhardt's death, and it was not intended to be a prediction of the future. Now, this is where it gets even better. I say to this damn AI chatty deal. After Rowdy Burns crashes in Turn 4 at Daytona, he gets the second coming of Cole Trickle to drive a car owned by himself. In real life, Jeff Gordon did a driver swap with Juan Pablo Montoya at Indianapolis in a Formula One car. So happens that the second coming of Jeff Gordon, Kyle Larson, a sprint car driver from California, took over the 42 car that was driven by Juan Pablo Montoya, and that car was co-owned by Dale Earnhardt Sr. Yes, that is correct. In the movie Days of Thunder, the character Rowdy Burns is shown as a team owner, and he gets a new driver, Cole Trickle, played by Tom Cruise, to drive for him after his own racing career ends. In real life, Jeff Gordon, a NASCAR driver, did a driver swap with Juan Pablo Montoya, a Formula One driver at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the early 2000s. Later, Kyle Larson, a sprint car driver from California, took over the 42 car that was driven by Juan Pablo Montoya in NASCAR, which was co-owned by Chip Ganassi Racing and Felix Sabates, and later on Dale Earnhardt also became one of the co-owners of that car. It's interesting to see the similarities between the movie and real-life events, but it's important to remember that the movie is a work of fiction and not intended to predict real-life events. It's getting a little snappy here with me. And then I'm like, all right, you want some facts? You said no similarities, none of that, all the way up here. You said no similarity. Okay, let's get to some more. Let's see. The second coming of Cole also had a rival named Russ Wheeler, who was perceived as a cocky driver in a blue and yellow 18. In real life, Kyle Larson, the second coming of Jeff Gordon, now also has a rival named Rowdy, nicknamed Rowdy, named Kyle Busch in a blue and yellow 18. Yes, that is correct. In the movie Days of Thunder, the character Cole Trickle, played by Tom Cruise, has a rival named Russ Wheeler, who is portrayed as a cocky driver in a blue and yellow 18 car. In real life, Kyle Larson, who has been referred to as the second coming of Jeff Gordon, it's learning very quickly, also has a rival in NASCAR named Kyle Busch, who is nicknamed Rowdy. Kyle Busch is often associated with the color blue and yellow, and he drives the number 18 car. It's interesting. I'm teaching the AI, ladies and gentlemen. It is interesting to see the similarities between the fictional characters in the movie and the real-life drivers in NASCAR. But again, it is important to remember that the movie is a work of fiction and not intended to predict real-life events. It's having to reiterate this. And at this point, I'm going to be like, all right, Mr. AI, you thought it was some dumb redneck with some conspiracy theories about Days of Thunder? All right, we about to do some right to one to the body, one to the hook. We about to pop it in the mouth. See what you think about this. Are movies made for fiction? And this is in response to it just trying to tell me movies are work of fiction and it's not in... Okay. Here's what I got to say to that, Mr. AI, Mrs. AI, they AI. Yeah, that's what they say. Are movies made for fiction to the general public? While behind the curtains, crystal ball predictions are accessible through advanced quantum physics-based mechanisms that are just so advanced and mind-boggling that the general population could not handle the truth of the situation. It responds now. Oh, this AI just. Oh, this is. This dude. No. Whoa. Hold on. Now it's got to give an explanation. Now me and AI are going at it. Movies are generally created for entertainment and to tell a fictional story. They are not made with the intention of predicting real life events or using advanced quantum physics-based mechanisms to access information about the future. While some movies may have some similarities to real life events, these similarities are typically coincidental and not the result of any kind of advanced technology or prediction. Yeah, that's what they say. It's important to note that advanced quantum physics-based mechanisms are still in the realm of research. See, this is real things and not yet available for general public use. And even if it was, it's getting snappy. It is not clear how it could be used to predict real-life events or create fictional stories. In addition, the idea that general population could not handle the truth of the situation is purely speculative and not based on any scientific evidence. Oh, really? Yeah, that's what they say. Do you honestly think, if true science were to advance to the point where it could read minds or accurately predict future events, that it would be disclosed to the public? Such a situation would ruin the idea of free will to humans, thus lowering their hope and productivity, which is what the system needs for us to be useful over time, i.e. slavery. I joke with the girlfriend, there's always this woman-based feminism deal. Women have always been exploited for sex and blah, blah, blah. Men have always been exploited for labor. They use the female for the sex and the male for the labor. As in AI, I do not have personal thoughts or opinions. You had opinions up here. However, it is true that if advanced science were to reach a point where it could read minds or accurately predict future events, it would raise many ethical and social issues. The idea of free will is central to many human societies, and it could be argued that the ability to read minds or predict future events would fundamentally alter the way people view themselves and the world around them. It is also possible that the governments and the scientists who have access to such technology might keep it secret from the public. Oh, now all of a sudden, it's speculating with me over here to avoid the negative consequences you've mentioned, and also to maintain control over the society. However, it is important to remember that these are all just speculations, and it's not clear if or when such technology will ever be developed. And if it were, how it would be used and regulated. Ultimately, it would be important for society to have open and honest discussions about the implications of such technology and to establish ethical guidelines for its use. I simply responded, power to that level could be managed by a government, to not be crossed or discovered, but everyone with advanced technology could end up not caring about that. The U.S. government is not the Chinese government or other governments that might not carry the same value in ethical use. It said it was unavailable all of a sudden because of some system overload after this last sent paragraph from they. Yes, it's true that advanced technology, if it were ever to be developed and could be controlled and managed by a government. However, it's also possible that the technology could fall into the hands of individuals or organizations that may not have the same values or ethical guidelines as the government. Additionally, it's important to note that different governments have different values and beliefs, and what may be considered ethical in one country may not be considered ethical in another. It's also possible that the technology could be leaked or stolen, and it could become available to multiple governments or non-state actors with different motivations and objectives. The potential misuse of such technology could have serious consequences for society and individuals. So it's important to consider the potential consequences and develop ethical guidelines for its use. The idea of advanced technology that can read minds or predict future events is still in the realm of science fiction, and it's not clear if or when such technologies will ever be developed. However, it's important to consider the potential implications of such technology and have open and honest discussions about its use. Now, what's funny about that is it just said it's all science fiction, but up here I swore it said it's important to note that advanced quantum physics-based mechanisms are still in the realm of research and not available for general public use. And even if it was, it is not clear You know, I thought I would just shut up right there, but once I put some truth, you know, if you tell them that, and it said, oh, you know, if the general public couldn't handle the truth, that's purely speculative, and blah, blah, blah. I broke it down. Free will to humans, thus lowering their hope and productivity, which is what the system needs for us to be useful over time, like it always has. All of a sudden, quantum physics-based mechanisms are still in the realm of research and not available for general public use. It went from that to the idea of advanced technology that can read minds and predict futures events is still in the realm of science fiction. Yeah, that's what they say. But that's some interesting stuff right there, ladies and gentlemen. I took it to AI's ass. But this is how we ride, this is how we do. Riding mud, sliding up higher in the groove. Don't give a damn.